Welcome to She Lancer, Mom Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Angela Olfast, otherwise known as VoiceOver Angela. In this podcast, we talk about my adventures in freelancing, my voiceover business, and everything else in between. Let's get started. Hello, good morning. Wherever you are, thank you for joining me again for another live Q&A session. It's been kind of an odd sort of morning, let me tell you. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Angela. I'm a full-time voiceover artist and audiobook narrator. And my channel is dedicated to those of you just getting started out in this wonderful world of voiceover and audiobook narration. And through my channel, I share with you some tips and tricks and techniques and things that I do every day in my own voiceover business. And I answer your questions in these live Q&A sessions in the hopes that they help you get past the hurdles you're experiencing, or hopefully set you on the correct path so you don't fall on your face like I do. If you're not new here, then you know that every week we have a new poll. And this week the poll is, how do you measure success? And I asked this question because today we're going to be talking about the 4 pillars of success. 4 things that I think you need to be aware of and embrace to create a nice solid foundation to create success for yourself, right? But I want to know, how do you measure that success, right? So do you measure that success in reaching your goal income? Do you measure that success in having more time to yourself, or time off, time with your family, just time to do what you want to do? Or both? How do you measure that success? Because I hear so many people creating goal income, like this month I want to make, or this year I want to hit X amount of dollars, and next year I want to hit X amount of dollars. That's great. But what about time? What about time for yourself? Especially right now, a lot of us have worked a very long time for other people. Work. It's all consuming, right? And of course, the income is important too, because we got to put food on the table. You got to pay the bills, right? But what if you made enough income to pay the bills and still have a little left over to enjoy the time that you have also, right? The time to do the things, to go travel, to go out to the movies with your kids that you don't really had the time to do before when you worked for someone else, right? So how do you measure that success? For me, I think I am the latter. I'm fine with what I make because it's just enough to put away a little for retirement, to pay the bills, and then to also spend the time, which was my why. My why was to be able to spend more time with my kiddo. And being able to do that is success for me, right? So it looks like 32% of you said reaching your goal income, 8% of you said having more free time, and 60% of you said both. And I can see the both, because you need both. I think so. But for me, it's a little bit more hedging towards the free time. The income's great and a necessity, but I think for me, it's both. So I'm glad I'm not the only one thinking that way. Okay, so the 4 pillars are, the first one is the investment, right? You have a goal, you have a dream, you have something that you want to do. Most of the time, achieving those is going to take some investment, financial investment. You're going to have to invest in the tools that you're going to need to be able to do the thing that you dream of doing, right? And not all of us have that to spend right away, and that's understandable. You might have to, put it on credit. You might have to save up a bit to do it. But there is investment, and those investment tools, those tools that you invest in, rather, are either the equipment that you're going to need or the training that you're going to need. Maybe you need, if you're looking into voiceover, there may be presets or plugins that you're going to need, right? The headphones, the microphone, the interface, the computer, the expense in purchasing a DAW, the software that you need to record it, right? The whether you're counting the 20% fees on Fiverr, or you're counting you're investing in training, you're investing in coaching. There are investments that need to be made to achieve these goals and these dreams. There just is. The second pillar is work, or the time that you spend in learning the tools of the trade, or learning how to do what it is that you want to do. That's going to take some time and effort on your part. Voiceover specifically isn't something, and I'm sure it's same as could be said for any other endeavor that you want to try, but you're going to have to learn how to do it. That's going to take time and probably investment, probably both of those pillars, right? But it's going to take work on your part. And the time that it takes to do that is dependent on you and your schedule. So that time could take you a week, it could take you a few days, it could take you a couple of years, depending on the time that you have to invest in that, another type of investment, right? Because this isn't something that you could just jump into day one. I think most of you know that. It takes time and work and investment. And another pillar, which I think it's not something that you know that you need to do right off the bat. It took me a little bit to understand this pillar, but this pillar is the mindset change of thinking like the person who does what you want to do. And in most cases, that means that you're thinking like the CEO of your business, because this is a business, right? Any kind of dream where you're wanting to make an income is more than likely a business, right? So think like the CEO that you are in your business, right? And that means that you have to wear many hats. You have to wear the hat of the marketer. You have to wear the hat of website designer, perhaps. I mean, if you're anything like me and do everything yourself because you're stubborn and hard-headed, means you have to wear all the hats. You have to be the bookkeeper. You have to be the advertiser. You have to be the agent, right? You have to go out and find the work, the income to keep your business afloat. You have to have that mindset of whatever it is that you're trying to do. And I think the biggest, and you hear me talk about this all the time, the biggest pillar is your why. If your why to do this in the first place isn't strong enough, you're never going to get anywhere. Because as we know, as a business owner, there are going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be great months or great weeks, and there's going to be weeks where there's a little bit of a lull, or months, right? Being a business owner means that it's not going to be consistent income. It's going to change from day to day, to week, to month, to year to year. So that is going to be the mindset that you need to change, right? You have to keep in mind that you have to keep working at, building the website, keep working at making new connections, keeping track of the expenses and the income as the CEO. But none of that is going to make any kind of sense, or it's not going to be something that you want to do unless your why to do this in the first place is strong enough. Is that why, the reason that you want to do this, you're fulfilling a passion, you have the need for maybe not only income, but much like me, you wanted to spend time with your kiddo, more time, to be available, to be, an available parent. That was the strongest pillar for me. And that kept everything else moving forward for me. So if you have those 4 pillars, you have a very strong foundation to seeing success. Because again, that why is also going to push you through the lulls. It's going to keep you going when things aren't looking that great, when things get tough, when you are faced with an obstacle, right? It's going to push you to look past it, to find a way, to keep pushing through and making more connections, to sending a couple more emails, to getting a few more auditions done. That why is everything. I think that is the most important pillar of these 4 pillars of success. What do you guys think? Let's go over to the comments and see who's here. Who's first in? Let's see who's first in. Eric. Hey, buddy. I'm glad you're here. Good morning. I do this for the fun of it, but the income is definitely how I measure how well I'm doing. Well, your situation's a little bit different because you already have the time, right? So I think for you, it's going to come down to your why, right? Why do you want to do this in the first place? Is it just for income, or is it just because you enjoy it, right? But just keep going, Eric. Just keep pushing. Tess. Hi, Tess, from Dracula. I know it's Dracula, but, it's a joke that we share. I think it was the very first time that you joined, I said Dracula. Because my brain, Good afternoon from Dracula. Finally getting busy again. That's fabulous. I'm glad to hear it. And just keep pushing through. Just keep pushing through. Again, this is a business. You're going to see ebbs and flows all the time. Eric says your music started late. Funny story. As I mentioned before, it's been a weird meeting. About a half an hour before the stream started, my screen just went black. Said your HDMI is not recognized by your device or something to that. I'm like, oh, great. So in comes all of the extra HDMI cables, and then in comes, okay, great. What am I doing? Right. So I tried a different HDMI. That didn't work. So I just completely shut everything down. And then I discovered that once again, some sort of a Windows update changed the driver on my graphics card. So I had to update my graphics driver again in order for my display to be recognized. So that was literally right before we started. So I'm hoping that I don't drop out. Crossing my fingers that fixed it. Yeah. See, everybody, technical gremlins, everybody has the issues. Rustic Hillbilly. Good morning. Are you guys seeing rain over there yet? We need some rain. Send some rain over here, would you? Tristan Sartoris says, looking back at it, I wish I would have answered both. Yeah, I wish you could change the answers too. That would be nice if you could change your vote, but I get it. I think it's both for me. Mainly the time. Of course, as I said, the income is good, and the income allows me to have the time. So it's sort of both. They sort of go hand in hand, right? And then Eric also says, me too. Of course. Yeah. Good morning, Santa Barbara. Tristan says. Caesar. Hi, Caesar. Spicy Caesar. Hi, Angela. I know I've succeeded once. I'm able to participate in one of our Zoom meetings from an overwater villa in the Maldives. Oh my gosh. Yes, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? That's on my bucket list, is to be in one of those villas that are sitting over the water where you could look down and see the fish. And oh my God, wouldn't that be sweet? Yep, I'm adding it to my goal list, right? My dream board. Dylan. Hey, Dylan. I do this as a second source of income, so the having more time option is right out the window. I honestly do it because it's a creative outlet and something that I honestly enjoy while getting paid. And I think in retrospect, I think a lot of people do that. I think Eric may be one of those, right? where you already, well, for you, you don't have the time, but he already has the time and just does this for a little income on the side. Again, for a creative outlet. I get that. I totally get that. Um, this would be fun to do. It would be a lot of work to do both and still be full-time employed. It was. I did it for about a year and a half, just about 2 years, somewhere between there. It's hard to do both. But um you do have to enjoy it, and that comes down to your why, right? Why do you want to do this? Tristan says, do you primarily do audiobook narration? Because I've taken your recent advice into my video game work and it's paying dividends. Grazi. That is amazing. And I'm so happy for you. I love it. Congratulations. Me, I do it. Um, it sort of changes. It ebbs and flows, just like I was saying. Most of what I was doing earlier this year and probably for the past 5 years, most of what I did was audiobook narration. I've almost always had audiobooks in queue. Right now, I don't have any. So it changes. I've got a few authors who have a few that are in the editing process. So I might see, a few all at once. You never know how that works. But keep in contact with people when they reach out to you, and just to make sure that, they're still thinking of you when the time comes. But most of what I do is the long form narration, which includes audiobooks. I do a lot of online tutorials, e-learning content, video narration, and audiobooks. Meditation too, lots of meditation. And recently, a lot of video game work, funny enough. So I guess a little bit of everything, but mostly long form. Writer Dude's here. Good morning, Writer Dude. Good morning from Keith in Renton. Good morning. I'm just going to keep calling you Writer Dude because I love that username, Writer Dude. Glowin is here. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good afternoon for you, Angela in chat. I appreciate you guys being here. Got the Platinum Group representing. What do you guys think? Tell me if you're here. What's your measure of success? How do you measure it? And it doesn't have to be just a vote. You could tell me. How do you measure it? What is your success, right? What do you consider a success? Share with us your successes. Mary, I'm just arbitrarily clicking away. Hey, Mary, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Oh my gosh, I'm just pushing buttons because I'm nervous about the screen. I'm hoping that I don't black out again. Writer Dude says, for me, it's both. I want something I can do while traveling and save for retirement. That's perfect. This is the perfect thing for that. You just have to worry about, if you're constantly traveling, the only thing you'd have to worry about is long form pieces, right? If you're in the middle of recording an audiobook and then you're in a different place for chapters 2 and 3, when you were in a different place for chapter 1, it might sound a little bit different. But if you have a pretty solid travel rig and a good comforter to put over your head, I suppose, to block out the sound, might be a little bit challenging, but totally can be done. I'm sure you guys know there's a friend of mine that is a successful voice artist who travels around in her minibus, right? So it can be done. They're just pushing buttons again. Caesar. Sorry, guys. I don't want to be obscenely rich, says the guy who wants a villa in the Maldives, but I don't want to have to choose between food and bills and R&R. I want to relax without starving in the dark. I get that. I totally get that. I don't need to be obscenely rich either. I don't need the fame and the fortune. I don't need the big, gigantic IMDb page. I don't need any of that. I think for me, it's partly just a creative outlet and the ability to stay at home and also just to make enough to do what I need to do, right? Yeah. Glowin says, right now I'm trying to get it to work as a secondary income, working towards dropping my full-time job. And that's exactly where I was. Little over 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, doing this on the side and then working as a full-time employee. You can do it. You can do it. Just keep at it. Masonry Construction says, hi from Oceanside, California. Supposed to hit 84 degrees today. Yikes. Got to stay inside and listen to Angela. That's fine with me. And and I'm sorry that you have to listen to me. But 84 degrees is nice. We're like in, I think I heard on the news this morning, the 26th day of being over 110 here in Phoenix. Supposed to be 117, I think I heard today. I don't know. Crazy. Pamela McDonald is here. Good morning, Pamela. Morning, all. Off to see Oppenheimer this afternoon. Speaking of being able to have time to sneak off on a weekday. Local IMAX, non-70 millimeter for you geeks. That is so cool. I've heard a lot of people going to see that, or the Barbie movie, one of the two. So I don't know. I haven't seen a movie in a while. I should probably go see one. Let me know how it is, if you like it. Phil says, hey, Angela. Hey, everyone. Hey, Phil. How's it going, Phil? Tell me, what's new in your world? Anything to announce? Mary HP says, I think I measure success as both of these goals, but also how much work I actually have. I still am in the realm of doing some pro bono work, so not always paid. I think I understand the pro bono work, but make sure that you are getting something in return for the pro bono work. So it's still a return on your investment. And that could be some sort of a barter system, right? It could be your clients can credit you. Like, for example, if you're doing YouTube narration, right? You're trying to help out a small channel and the exposure is good for you, make sure that creator also credits you in the description, right? Voiceover by Mary HP or whomever, right? So that way you still have people that can click on your link or something. Like I had a client way back. I did like a purge type announcement for like coronavirus. It was sort of like a pranky kind of video. But he would credit me and then link my my website or my Fiverr gig. I forget which, but I still have people contacting me who found me on that video still today. So that is definitely something that you want to make sure that they're crediting you. You're getting something back out of the pro bono work, right? Oh, super chat. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you, Sean. Sean says, are there jobs that you would prefer not to do, but you do because you do this full time? What sacrifices do you make to be successful? There really isn't any jobs that I do that I'm uncomfortable with. If there's something that I'm uncomfortable with, whether it be what is being said or who it's being played to or what it is, for example, like text to speech, I don't do those. If it's something that's hateful or, it doesn't agree with me, I'm not going to do it. Anything that's maybe kind of creepy. I'm trying to stay PG-13, but I think you know what I mean. Anything that just makes me uncomfortable. The power of no is amazing. I think that's one of my most favorite things about this business is that I don't have to do a job I don't want to do, right? If it's something that's maybe borderline and I really need to do it, I will maybe give it more consideration. But really, if, I don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it. Sacrifices, I would say there are still times where I have to work instead of doing what I want to do with my son or my family. But that's not as often as it used to be when I was making a lot of sacrifices in the beginning. So there's still sacrifices to be made. I think also sacrifices in turning people down that I want to work with, but I just don't have the time. I've had to do that a few times with authors or mentees, people who want to reach out to me and work with me, but I'm booked. Right? Those are the kind of sacrifices that I I'm not happy about, but there are some. And I think for me, it just comes down to time mainly. But yeah, the power of no is fabulous when you're full time and you don't want to do something. You don't have to do it. Um, Use right. I lost my spot. Here we go. Phil says, I'm also stubborn and hard headed. Yeah. Yeah. Me too. Me too. I have a hard time with control and letting go, right? And hiring people to help. I have a very hard time with that. Eric says, speaking of lulls, I feel like you're speaking to me. Isn't that funny? I'm speaking to you, Eric, and I'm speaking to I've a lot of other people. I've heard this particular concern quite a bit in the last couple of weeks. A lot in this last week, people talking about lulls. And I think in my heart of hearts, as we've discussed before, there's more of a lull than I think I've ever seen right now, generally speaking. But I think that has a lot to do with what is going on right now. But just like everything else, this too shall pass. I don't know when. I don't know how long this is going to end or to take, but just keep going. Don't let it discourage you. Just keep going. Think positively. It will pass. This will pass. Caesar says, right now I'm funneling income from my main job into my studio. I am blessed with multiple skill sets, but occasionally crippled by self-doubt, perfectionism, and frustration as a result. I can totally relate to this comment. I did the same. Have your employer sponsor you, so to speak, to start your studio. And if you have multiple skill sets and they are in a format that you can offer them digitally, like you can deliver it digitally, do that. Nobody says that to become a voice artist that you have to do only voiceover. You don't. You don't have to do only voiceover. Offer other skills that you have in conjunction with voiceover. As I've mentioned before, I do retail arbitrage. I resell books on the side as well. I do podcast editing. You could offer to edit and format. You could be a studio that formats and edits, other audiobooks. You could produce audiobooks without narrating them for other people. Think outside the box and offer anything else that you have to keep income coming in and still being able to do voiceover on the side to satisfy your creative need, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Have multiple streams of income. Offer them online. Caesar, there's a lot that you can do online to make money from home. Glowen says, Caesar, I have the exact same crippling issues. I want to launch successfully, but fear the lack of attention or success with auditions. And I get that too. I mean, you and Caesar both, I totally understand the self-doubt, but you're not going to move forward unless you move forward. Even baby steps forward are still steps forward, right? Setting out that first audition, I think, was one of the most terrifying things. But you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to see any kind of success unless you take that first step forward. You have to. You can't be too, you can't get caught up with what is everybody going to think about you. That fear you don't let that fear dictate your fate. Don't. You are the master of your own world and your future, your destiny, right? Not fear. So take a hold of your destiny and go and get it. Go just submit that audition. Submit one. Get it done. Don't wait for feedback or don't wait for a response, and then get another one done, and then get another one done, and then get another one done. Rinse and repeat. Just keep going. They can't hear you unless you submit that audition. They can't hear the perfect voice they were looking for unless you submit that audition. You may not know how many like perfect opportunities may be passing you by because you're not getting out there. You never know when the day comes that what you submit is going to be like the turning point for you where things change and really start to get serious. You land that client that's been looking for your voice and your delivery to offer you this gigantic job, or you never know when that's going to happen, and that's not going to happen unless you get out there. So don't let fear decide that for you. You decide that for you. Just go get it. Just do it. Just do it and record something, right? Just go record something. Eric says, definitely not just for the income. Unlike many people in our group, the frog returns. I, for one, love the sound of my own voice. Really? You don't say. LOL. I do it for the enjoyment, honestly. Well, that's good. I mean, I think that's a pretty strong why. Enjoyment is a good why because you enjoy it and it's creative, right? Caesar says to Glowen, I'm not the only one. I'm so frustrated over the subjectivity of this industry we're in. So much uninformed opinion and snake oil. Hard to get straight answers. I'm surprised you say that, Caesar, with I would like to know exactly what we're talking about, Caesar. But you're right. There are a lot of opinions out there. There are a lot of people in different places, skill levels, tenure, and everybody's got an opinion on how to make things happen or what to do and what not to do. And just like me, I think you're at a point where all of that is overwhelming and you need an answer that applies directly to you, which, as you know, is hard to do because of the variables. There's the sheer amount of variables in this business with equipment and voices and the space you're recording in, the type of voiceover that you're doing. There's so many variables to contend with, and it's hard to get an answer that you can take and directly apply to your situation. So that is exactly why I say listen to everybody's opinion, because somebody may have a nugget in what they say and then discard the rest because it doesn't apply. And then somebody else may have a nugget that you can take, but everything else doesn't apply, right? And then someone else may have that final piece that you're looking for, and you put all of those nuggets together and you go, I should try that and see if that works for me, right? But if you have something specific that you're looking for, I'm sorry, I don't think I was showing your actual comment. But if there's something specific that you're looking for, have you asked it in the group, in our Discord? Send your question to me. Email me, and I'll see if I can help you with your answer. Caesar. Glowin says, when I get home tonight, I am going to audition for my first time. Good. I think you should. I think you should do 2, maybe 3. Why not? 3 is a good number. Hello, random memes. Good morning. I hope you're having a fantastic day. Thanks for being here. Caesar says, but hey, all the waffling aside, I'm moving my chest pieces. Not your chest pieces, but your chess pieces. Getting my LLC ready. Good. Have a website planned. Good. Writing scripts for my demos. Double good. And also designed a pretty sweet logo for my business. Well, see there. Hey, good job, Caesar. All great steps forward. I'm proud of you. I'm dying to see that logo. Are you going to share it with us? Put it in the Discord. Do you have it ready? I want to see your logo. Sean Lester says, when doing this for a hobby, I could pick and choose only the cool stuff that was fun to do. When I went out on the limit, I had to stop being choosy. Totally get that too. You mean like when you, okay. Yes. I think for me, what I did before I left my employer, I had a pretty nice little nest egg, right? I had a pretty nice buffer that I built for myself because I wanted to be able to do this full time, but then still have something to fall back on in case it didn't work, right? I'm not saying that I wasn't not choosy because I probably did more work that I probably wouldn't now. But I think that's really up to you in terms of when you're choosy. If you're choosy in the beginning or not choosy in the beginning, again, that's another beauty of this business that you could run it however you want to run it. But when you're full time and you're sort of reliant on the income coming in, I guess is what I'm getting at, then I can understand that. You really have to take what is coming into you, right? But and I have to wonder, is this from casting sites or freelance marketplaces that you're talking about? Guys, don't forget that you're not reliant. You shouldn't be reliant on just casting sites and pay to plays. Get out there in social media and make connections with people, with small and large and medium companies, Fortune 500 companies. Reach out to them on LinkedIn. Get out there on social media. That's where all the eyeballs are, right? On little bite-sized videos. Get out there on social media and show the world who you are and what you sound like to make some more connections. Think of an email marketing campaign. Be choosy about who you reach out to on LinkedIn. Start making some connections off of these pay-to-play sites. Take your destiny by the reins, right? Don't just sit there and pick and choose what is sent to you. You go get what you want, right? Tristan says, in all honesty, I'm just obsessed with the art form. I do on-camera work, but love the extra creativity, imagination that comes with voiceover or voice acting. Too much fun. Well, that's cool too. You do on-camera work also? That's fabulous. There's also another idea for those of you at home that want to stay at home. I get asked for on-camera work all the time, like being a spokesperson or like a on-camera review or on-camera like an e-learning presentation. Or you could moderate webinars. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that you could do if you have a web camera at home. Think outside the box with your other skill sets and the other things that you know how to do and offer those online. Just as a side note to Tristan. But I'm glad that you love it. And that's a great why. That's a great why. Is loving it. Hey, Joy. Joy. Hello from Southfield, Michigan. My whys are as follows. I enjoy the flexibility. I love what I'm doing. Income goals. I can't work in the office with my painful disability, so I have a few reasons. And those are all great whys. And some are, necessities. And I get that. So for you, I think especially consider ways that you can make other income streams at home. There's a lot you can do online in addition to voiceover. Tristan says 170, easy for you to say, 117 degrees. That's insane. What do you guys use in Phoenix? SPF hopeful. I just don't leave the house. I stay in my cave of wonders all day. I only leave the house when I need to. And then wait till the fall or the spring. We just kind of hibernate during the summer. Right Track says, good morning, Angela and all. Very glad I'm able to catch your stream today. Just finishing up my first book. Good for you. What was very time consuming, but so rewarding. Thanks for the advice. Oh, you're so welcome. So very proud of you. It is time consuming. It is time consuming, but very rewarding once it's done. For sure. Clowin says, LOL, Tristan. Yes, that was funny. SPF hopeful. BB Homebody says, for me, more money generally allows me to do more fun things with my friends and family. But my handful of ACX royalty shares aren't paying very well. It's been good experience though. Royalty shares, especially if they're like a smaller book, yeah, of course, those income, the royalty income payments isn't going to be a lot, or it's not something that you can live on by themselves, but it's still income and they add up. So do more of them. Or like I was saying before, take your skills and put them on social media. Think of a way that you could share who you are and what you sound like on social media. And that could be YouTube, that could be a podcast, that could be on Instagram, that could be on TikTok. There are tons of voice actors, and I hear them all the time saying that they are finding authors, indie authors, and maybe small publishers. Do you guys know there are casting agents on TikTok as well? But there's a lot of authors, self-published authors, that are finding narrators on social media through TikTok, namely, right now. A lot. Get out there. I know it's intimidating. You don't want to show your face and stuff, but showing a little bit of personality is not a bad thing. Or just make it all about your pets. If you have a cat or a dog or a fish or a bird or something, then, video them and then give them a voiceover. I mean, get creative. Think of a way that you could do that. So if the ACX royalty share payments aren't sustaining you, then go out and get more. Go out and get what you want. Ryder Dude says, barter can work great if you really work it. Different industry. I met a martial arts instructor who did it for all kinds of things. Interesting. Like, make me a pie and I'll show you how to do a roundhouse kick. A round kick. I mean, hey. Caesar says, summertime in Arizona is amazing. If you apply enough sunscreen, your skin will cook very evenly. I prefer extra tasty crispy myself. I'm a very extra tasty crispy person. Bill says, anything to announce? Of course. The ebook is published and available now, and waiting for ACX Q&A to approve my audiobook. Cannot wait. Congratulations, Phil. I was hoping that you would say that. Congratulations. I know that was a long time coming, so we're all very proud of you. Good job, Phil. You'll have to share with us the title so we can go and check it out. Caesar says, also, my wife is making me choose between watching Barbie and Oppenheimer. I'm hearing that a lot. What should I go see, Barbie or Oppenheimer? I told her that was like choosing between a good steak and a violent regurgitation. I'm hearing mixed reviews on Barbie. I've heard a lot of people saying I'm going to see Oppenheimer, but I haven't heard any results yet. Is it good? I'm guessing it's good. I don't know. I guess we'll have to go and see them. Zerufiel. I hope I'm saying that right. Hi. How can I maintain consistent pitch and long narration? I wouldn't really try to keep a consistent pitch and a long narration, because that could be taxing on the ear. And you could also be possibly mistaken for AI, and you don't want that to happen either. In long conversations and just me talking to you now, my pitch and tone is changing. It's, the volume is going low and the volume is going high when I'm excited about something or I have something to announce. I'm going to increase the volume of my voice. The pitch and the tone are going to change because that is the way humans speak. So I don't think you should, especially in long form, because if it's too monotone and consistent, you're going to put people to sleep, for one. But changing up the pitch and tone is going to keep it more engaging, right? Just like I'm talking to you now. You don't want to keep it consistent. You want to change it up, modulate. Change it up, right? MJ Rod says, talking about encouragement, I did a solo on LibriVox. That's great. Good job. And LibriVox, for those of you that don't know, that's LibriVox.org. That is where you can volunteer to narrate chapters, sections, or books in their entirety, books in the public domain for an audiobook site that offers free audiobooks. So you could do that just as sort of like dipping a toe in to see if this is something that you can do, and maybe, if you can sustain it, and if you can meet ACX's standards or audiobook formatting standards. I mean, the standards are going to be, I think, a little bit different. I don't think they're exactly the same from LibriVox to ACX, if memory serves, but that's okay. In the process of learning how to format files, then you learn how to do it, and then you can, change settings very slightly to meet other standards of other distributors. No big deal. But in doing that, I did it myself in the very beginning before I went to ACX. In doing that, I gained so much confidence in knowing that I could do this, that I could sustain it. It's a lot of work, but I could sustain it, and that I could meet formatting standards, and that people did want to hear my voice, right? All of those things I got from just donating my time on LibriVox. It was a great experience, and I recommend it highly. Good job, MJ. And then MJ says, LibriVox a while back and got a good review, albeit a bit funny. IR was the encouragement. It was the encouragement I needed at the particular point in time. That is fabulous, because I think for me, it was the same. The confidence from doing that was huge for me. It set me in motion. It got me excited, took away the anxiety for the time being, and told me that I could do this, right? That was like the permission that I needed to move forward. Very encouraging, for sure. MG Stevens, hello. Hi, Angela. Hi, everyone. Hi, MG. Thanks for being here. Right Track says, suggestions for staying on pace to meet a deadline. Any advice appreciated? I would say at the very start of contract negotiations, make sure that the deadline works for you. That seems kind of like a no-brainer, yes, but I think a lot of times the clients don't realize how long things take to do. If we're talking audiobooks take time. They're a lot of work, and depending on their word count, could take a month to 2 months, right? So in the beginning, during contract negotiations, ask for the time you need. Ask for even just a little bit of extra time to allow for the chaos factor, right? If your graphics driver goes down and you can't get into your computer and you need time to fix it, or you get sick or go on vacation or something, ask for the time you need up front, maybe a little bit extra, a little bit of a buffer, and then deliver it early and be a hero, right? But if you're already in a contract and you can't change it, or you can't ask for extra time, because if you need extra time, try to ask for it if you need it. See what they say. But for me, using my agenda book, I'll parse out what I need to do over the days, right? Day 1, Monday, read through the book, make sure that you have a firm understanding, make any notations that you need to. Day 2, contact the rights holder, see if you have any direction or any questions to ask them, so on and so forth. Day 3, maybe start narrating the introduction, or, just parse it out over time, And then once you get everything narrated, then, day 15, edit chapters 1 through 5. Just sort of the agenda book is what I'm getting at, is what really helped me to keep on track and keep on top of things so I could meet deadlines. But ultimately, if you need extra time, ask for it. Ask for it and see what they say. Caesar says, I'm also very thankful of this VO community. As a non-native English speaker, I feel like being surrounded by people whose proficiency in English communication exceeds mine has helped tremendously. That is so funny that you say that, Caesar, because I wouldn't have. I think you are very proficient in English communication. I don't think you have any issues with that at all. Even if you are a non-native English speaker, I think you are better at speaking English than a lot of English speakers. So I wouldn't say that that's a thorn in your side or, a thorn in your heel or whatever. How does that saying go? I don't think that applies to you at all. But I'm glad that you feel that way. I'm glad that the VO community has brought you some peace in that respect. Because I think, again, the voiceover community, we're all very helpful for the most part. Very helpful, and will, extend a hand if you need help. You just have to ask for it. I'm glad, Caesar. Janeri says, "Hi, Angela." Hi, Janeri. Haven't seen you in a while. Just wanted to share. I am totally the opposite of most people. I am too confident about my voice talent that now I'm very impatient. With just a few gigs on Fiverr, I am now getting jobs. Well, that's great. So you're very confident about your voice talent and you're very impatient. So if you're impatient, again, waiting on a pay to play or a freelance marketplace, if you're impatient and don't want to sit there and wait for work to come to you, you go get the work, right? Go get the work. Take that confidence in yourself and go use it. Go search it out. Go find the people that you need to connect with and send a message to them. Go find that producer or that video game studio that you want to work for and ask if you can be put on their roster, or if you could just send them a demo if they're looking for fresh talent. Go out there and find the people that you need to connect with. There's no law that says you can't. Go get it. Right? But good job. I'm glad that you're getting some jobs. MG Steven says, "I'm also wanting to see some reviews on what I've done so I can learn and make changes and grow. Constructively, I hope. What if the reviews I want aren't good ones?" To be honest, MG, I don't read the reviews or ask for feedback from clients. If they're willing to give it, that's fabulous, but I don't ask for it. I just keep moving on and just kind of, you inherently grow and improve as you go. I think that is another reason why I say for working voice actors to be in groups, to help them stay on top of trends, to help them maybe you get so accustomed to the way that you read or to the way that you sound or the way that you perform, you may not know that there could be a better way unless someone else points it out to you, right? Or if you have like a melody in your voice where you're just going up and down, like you just unconsciously are doing it as you're narrating, but you don't realize you're doing it because you're used to it. So if you're in groups, right, and you meet with other voice actors and then they hear that and they go, "Hey, you have this sort of maybe sing-song quality to your voice, or you're like speaking in a rhythm and a melody or something. Maybe try doing this." And then you try doing something new and then you just inherently improve. So I guess what I'm getting at is that don't rely on clients to give you feedback to improve. I would reach out to groups of people, other voice actors, like my Platinum group, for example, where we meet every week and we can hear each other talk and we read for each other and we learn new things from each other, different perspectives. Maybe we pick up nuggets and, improve naturally as we go along. I highly recommend doing that. And if you do come across a review that isn't good, that's somebody's opinion. Because your voice isn't going to appeal to every single person on the planet, and that's okay. And that's okay. There may be one thing about you that irritates one person. That's one person. You can't let that bother you. Because you have to have the understanding that your voice isn't going to be suited for every single job. Your voice isn't going to be suited for every single company, for every single listener, right? And that's okay. There are plenty of other people who will like you just fine and will hire you and might even love you, right? You might even have a fan base at some point that you probably don't realize. Don't worry about it. Just keep going. Just keep going. Right? Caesar says, yes, the subjectivity, Angela, pertains to the more technical aspect of our job. Whether cables affect tone, which mics impart presence or warmth, Which preamps are superior, which converters? I think you're thinking too much. You're overthinking it, Caesar. Don't overthink it. Just use what works and roll with it, right? Roll with it, Caesar. Don't overthink it. It's very easy to do that. I get it because of all the variables, but don't overthink it. You'll drive yourself nuts. Tristan says there's a Discord. Oh, for my platinum group. On my website, voiceoverangela.com, I have a platinum group where we meet every week. And we also have a Discord that we can communicate with each other. That's what I was referring to. Sorry, Tristan. Pen and flute. I love that. What is the best way to create portfolio? I mean, a personal website or social media account? Either or both. I would say have a website for your business anyway. It's a personal or online home base for people to find you. So if you are active on social media, promoting your business, they can go to your website and find out more about you and contact you directly and see your portfolio there, right? Or if you're emailing people, they have a website they can go to. Or if you're on a pay-to-play or on Fiverr or Upwork and they want to search you to make sure that you're a real person, right? Before they hire you for something, they can search you, find your website, and there's all your information. You're a real person. It adds credibility and professionalism. Having a website, I think, is very important for voice acting. There's not a whole lot you need to have on it. They, put a picture of yourself, a nice smiling, what was the word? Oh my God, getting old really stinks. Have a nice profile picture, a little bit about you and the things that you enjoy, a little bit of a description of your voice, what kind of equipment you have, maybe. Talk about your dogs if you want to, and have a way to contact you, right? Have your email address or a contact form. And then have some way that they can hear you, whether it's you're embedding YouTube videos of things that you've done, a SoundCloud link to your demo. If you have the ability, like a VoiceZam app where you can upload your demos to your website and embed it in your website, you could do that. There's a lot of different ways to do that, but I definitely recommend having a website to direct all of that traffic to, right? So people can see your portfolio if that is the only way to share it at this point. Caesar says, then we have the fanboys, RME loyalists, Apollo warriors, Motu supporters, people who dunk on solid state logic for absolutely no reason. It's all out war that rivals Xbox versus PlayStation. I just listen to everybody's opinions and take what applies and leave the rest. If it doesn't apply to you, then it doesn't apply to you. Right? I don't get caught up in all of that stuff. Everybody's got opinions about stuff, and that's fine. They're entitled to their opinion. Doesn't mean that I have to follow it. Right? Just do what works best for you. Don't get so caught up in all of these things. Don't worry about it, Caesar. Don't get caught up in it. It's fine. Greg Cooper says, "This is my first time seeing you live." Well, welcome, Greg. Glad to have you. My measure of success is earning money. I'm just starting out and being able to pay the bills. My goal is to make this into a primary income. Well, you can do it. You just got to keep with it. Just keep with it. I'm proof of that. But yeah, earning money in the beginning is sort of the point of starting a new business, is to earn the money. And then after you invest the time and the money and the work and change the mindset to like a CEO kind of a mindset. Once you get past all of that stuff, that's when all of the fruits of your labor come. And then you have the time, right? You have to put in the work then to have the time later on. But keep going. Keep going, Greg. You got this. Got this, Greg. Dylan says, don't sit back and wait. You go get what you want. You just punched my soul. That hit home. That's good. I was hoping that's what I'd do, because I hear so many people just, well, I'm here, I'm on this side, I'm on this side, I'm on this side, and I'm not seeing anything. Well, okay, well, do something about it. Go get it. Don't rely on someone else to bring you work. You go get what you want. We have all of the skills at our fingertips. We have all of the tools we need to do that at our fingertips. Social media, LinkedIn, Google, go find some businesses and reach out to them. My gosh, go get it. Good motivation to get my website up and demos done. ACX alone doesn't pay the bills. No, not one site is going to. Not even having a handful of sites might not. You can't rely on them. You are a business. Don't just sit back and wait for that, for the business to come to you. Go get it. Go get it. It's out there waiting for you. Go get it. Jim Cecil says, hi, Angela. I'm auditioning daily, at least 3 to 4 jobs. I'm finding that the deeper I dive in, the more I realize that there is to learn. I just learned punch and roll. That is so cool. I'm just not coordinated enough for punch and roll. I'm sure if I just, bear down and learn it, I could probably get it. But I'm just so used to just clicking when I make a mistake and moving on instead of having to stop. And I can't get into all of that. I just can't retrain. I'm sure I could, but I don't want to. I'm kind of stuck in my ways now, I suppose. But that's awesome because I just can't get into punch and roll. Auditioning is now faster. That's awesome. I mean, anything that works for you, to Caesar and everybody else, again, take what works for you and leave the rest. There is usually a way around every sort of obstacle or speed bump. You just have to find what works for you. Because again, variables, there's so many of them. Just find what works for you and leave the rest, right? Tristan says, not a question, but just wanted to say the VO community and specifically here in your stream, the people are delightful. Really enjoying these videos. Well, I'm glad to hear you say that because that was the intention for this all along. My channel, my live streams, they're meant to be encouraging and because it's been sort of hinted at this entire stream, but there are gatekeepers. There are people who are maybe not so friendly and helpful. But I think for the most part, in my experience, the majority of people that I've come into contact with that have had the joy of meeting and learning from here in this industry, in this community, have been huge. They've been so helpful. And just anything you ask, they will answer. They will try to help you as best they can. So I'm glad that you're finding that here because that is what I wanted. I wanted this to be a safe place where if you're brand new, you're not afraid to ask questions because no questions are stupid, right? There's a good chance that we in the beginning, those of us that have been around for a little bit, have had the same questions in the beginning. And me, myself, have been turned away from other people that I admired in the beginning. And so I wanted to create a place where that wouldn't happen. I don't want that to happen here. I don't want you to feel like you're less than or that you can't or that, just because you're starting out, you're not worthy of this, that, or whatever information. I want you to succeed. I'm paying it forward. I wanted what I wanted in the beginning was a place where I could come, ask questions, and not be judged, right? Welcome to the family. I'm here to help you as best as I can. So I'm glad that you're finding that here. Thank you for that validation, Tristan. And I'm glad that you find that here. Thank you for saying that. Pen and Flute says, how much to dramatize an audiobook in terms of characters? Should that depend more on tone of the book or the length? Dramatize an audiobook in terms of characters. You mean like to have a whole troupe, like a whole cast, or you yourself with characters? I think it depends on what you and the rights holder decide, because ultimately the rights holder is the holder of the rights of the book. So it should be their decision on how they want it. Even if they want distinct character voices, right? That is something that you should really discuss with the author or the rights holder on how to proceed with their characters or how dramatic they want it to be, right? If I'm understanding your question. Glowin says, I have a question for the Platinum platform. Am I permitted to use the reading samples you have on the site on my profile, assuming, of course, I list you as the author? Yes, that is one of the benefits of being in my platinum group. Those scripts that you have available to you, you could use those for demos. You can use those for samples. You can use those for practice. You can use them for whatever you want to, because there are tons of scripts online that you guys can use, like from Edge Studio and voices.com, but they tell you to not use them in your demos. I have scripts that you can use in your demos. That's what they're for, if you want to. Absolutely. Joya says, since Phil won't say it and it's time to toot his horn, thank you, Joya. Phil, Cross of Destiny by Phil Sun. There you go, guys. One of our own. Go and look for it when it's out. That's awesome. Thank you for that, Joya. Congratulations, both of you. JCCAOL says, just wanted to say hi to everyone. Stay cool and hydrated, Angela. I'm trying, although I should have more water. And I'm just sitting here drinking coffee all day, but that's fine. Oh boy, it's 10 o'clock. Okay. I have an appointment to get to, so let's wrap up these last comments. Thank you for that, JCCAOL. It's nice to see you. Joy West says, I'm having surgery tomorrow, so I'm taking a break from voiceover for a little bit. I'm a little bummed because I want to work. Any suggestions on what I can do while I'm in bed? I would say while you're out of the studio and you're in bed, you still have access to your laptop. I would say that would be the time where I would start building out my website, refreshing my demos. If you have any voice samples or work that you can use that's recorded, start making those into demos and samples, right? Maybe start working on your Fiverr profile if you haven't started that already. Create or refresh your thumbnails. This would be the time that I would take to refresh and improve everything that is already existing. Build upon it or build it if you don't already have it, right? That's what I would do in this downtime, for sure. Phil says, thanks, Joya. I typed it in the chat, but it didn't show. Weird. Did it have a link or something? Maybe there could have been something in there that YouTube filtered out, I'm thinking. Joya says that Phil, I put it in 2, but it didn't take the first round. I think I'm a KDP. I'm blocked on here. Maybe. Yeah, it could be certain words that you're using that are being filtered for whatever reason. Phil says that Joya, very strange. It is. I'm not sure how to change that on my end. But yeah, I think it does. It looks for words and filters them out for whatever reason. Rider Dude to Caesar says, I agree with Angela. Your proficiency is much greater than many native English speakers. So many learned wrong in childhood, never tried to improve. You have an advantage. I agree. You speak good, Caesar. Janeri says, my problem is my time. Imagine if I give more time in my voiceover. Help me be organized, Angela. How did you do it with you having a full-time job? I wrote a lot of stuff down. I'm telling you, it has rudimentary and simple as it sounds, this agenda book that I have. I have a full-size, letter-sized agenda book with month, days, and I write everything down on it to stay organized and stay on time. But then, of course, if we're talking financially, you want to get PayPal Business, you want to get QuickBooks, you want to get all of that stuff situated too, and as early as you can to make it easier. Because the more that you're doing this, the harder it is to untangle all the personal and business stuff in the beginning. So I think the agenda book and then having the financial aspects, right, PayPal and QuickBooks situated in the beginning have really helped keep things flowing smoothly, basically. Caesar says, to Writer Dude, thank you. I feel that's valid praise coming from a writer. Joya says, the Discord is worth joining the Platinum group. There isn't another VO Discord that is as helpful and supportive. Join the group. Thank you for saying that, Joya. I'm so glad that Craig created the Discord, Craig and Christina. Amazing work. Those two are amazing. And I'm so glad that they suggested it and that we added it to the group, for sure. Love it. Caesar said, yes, 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 yes. I probably won too many yeses in the join the group. Yes, 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 yes. Join the group. pants are not required. Pants are not required, right? Just make sure that whatever's in the webcam frame is PG-13 and you're good. I must say that. Your local mermaid. I like that. Hello, I just started my voiceover career as a young person. Do you have any advice for someone just barely starting to go on this path? I would say, gosh, that's such a broad question. I would say start with watching all of the YouTube people. There are a lot of us voice actors on YouTube offering information for free. Not only voice actors, but audio engineers. There's people that could give you advice on your recording software, on which microphone to choose. Watch it all for free on YouTube. Soak it all in. Join Facebook groups, right? Like mine, the VO Workshop. Glean all the information. Start picking up, what you'll need, which mic might sound better for you. Do some research. Ask questions, right? As I said before, we all have a hand outstretched. Just take it and ask questions. We're all here to support people starting out because we were there also at one point, right? And most of us anyway, are willing to help you, right? So soak it all in at this point. Soak everything in. Melissa Harlow says, hey, Melissa, I've been watching Angela from the beginning and she is one of the best and you can trust her opinions and experience. Her motivations are genuine. Thank you for that, Melissa. I appreciate that. I needed that. Thank you so much, Melissa. That was very sweet. I appreciate that. Thanks for watching. Dwight Dagenhart says, hi, Angela from Old Saybrook, Connecticut. Excelled advice. Thank you for your time and thoughtful training. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you think so. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. The introvert in me is just screaming right now. Like, stop. Want to go hide. The writer dude. There is one voiceover group that is selling a $5,000 training package, but they are also gatekeepers to a degree, or at least have certain fixed ideas. They firmly discourage doing audiobooks, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to do what they want to do, right? That doesn't mean that you have to do it. Right? Yeah, don't get me started on that. I say there's so much out there for free that you can learn. And by joining groups, mastermind groups like my Platinum group, where we get together and talk about things and read for each other. And there's so much that you can learn from just joining a group. And I have to be wary of all-inclusive training packages because of all of the variables, right? There's so many different variables to your recording space and your voice and the equipment that you have. And a one package does it all package. I mean, I don't know how they have it configured, but I don't know. Plus, I think that training is ongoing. It's an ongoing, it never really stops, right? I'm not sure who you're talking about and don't name them, but everybody's got a way to handle training and advice and opinions. It doesn't mean that you have to do it or have to take it or have to pay for it, right? Just look for somebody that you feel that you can trust and that you're comfortable with. And if they coach or mentor, then reach out to them, right? I don't know, but everybody's going to have different ways of doing things. That you're going to find that just about everywhere with everything, right? Glowin says, oh my God, that is so helpful as I completely lack the imagination to create my own samples. Of course you can. Take any existing samples or work that you have and put them together into a reel, and then you can make a reel that's got a little bit of everything, and you can make a reel that's got just audiobooks, and you can dive even deeper than that and make a reel that's just self-help audiobooks, right? Create different demos and samples of different types because you never know what you're going to be asked for. By whom, right? You want to send the appropriate demo to the appropriate person. So if you have downtime, that would be another great time to refresh your demos, take work that you have done recently and make new demos out of them. Absolutely. There should never be a time where you're just sitting twiddling your thumbs. There's so much to do in this business for your business that you could be doing. Absolutely. Joyce says, thanks, Angela. You betcha. You betcha. Are we gonna see you in the platinum group then on Thursday? Or are you gonna you can still join from your laptop, couldn't you? Hmm, hope we don't miss you. That night. Dwight says, I get my commercial scripts from my demos by having AI transcribe them. Works great. I've heard that too, using like Chat GPT to write scripts for you. I know a few people who do that. Your local mermaid says, thank you. I'm trying to get everything set up and doing as much research as possible. I will say I have watched many of your videos for guidance and they have been very helpful for me. Thank you. I appreciate that, your local mermaid. That is such a cute username too, by the way. I'm glad they have been. That is my whole purpose for being here, is to, again, be what I wanted. What I wanted to see in my beginning was just a place where you could come and go, ask questions and feel safe, comfortable, right? Asking them. Because we all start at zero, right? I've been there. I know a lot of people who have been there. I've worked with a lot of people at that place. So no questions are stupid. I want to help you embrace your dream and achieve your goals in the ways that I feel that I hopefully can. Right? So I'm glad that it's been helpful. But as I mentioned, I have an appointment. I got to run. But thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you. I will be here again next week. I don't have an idea for next week yet. So if you have something particular that you want me to discuss or you want to have a discussion in the community about, then go ahead and comment below if you're watching this in the replay. If you have a suggestion or something that you want to talk about or learn more about, go ahead and put that in the comments below. So thank you everybody again today for being here. I will see you all next week. And yes, I'm just clicking buttons. I'll see you next week. Everybody have a safe week. Stay busy. Bye. Thank you so much for listening today. I really appreciate it. If you have an extra moment, please feel free to leave a review. We'll see you next time.